Hello, we're John and Linda Fagerlin, a sister and brother team from Missouri in the United States. And we've been here since January of 2021 in Uverito Beach on the Azuero Peninsula. And I'll turn it over to John as to how we actually got here.
Okay. Well, um, I changed careers from being a school teacher to a truck driver a couple years ago, and enjoyed it. But I came home one weekend after a 5-week rotten tour on the roads, and I came into the house all disgusted. And I said, "Linda," I said, "let's just move to Costa Rica." And she says, "No, I've looked into that. It's too expensive. Let's go to Panama." And I said, "Are you serious?" She goes, "Yeah." So the next thing you know, she's having a estate sale, selling all our furniture. We're getting the house ready to sell, and here we are. The kind of interesting about Panama for me is I was born here 62 years ago in the Canal Zone. So I've always said that this is a good place to be born, and it'll be a good place to spend the rest of my life. We really love the Uverito Beach area. It's just been phenomenal since we moved here. We had help from a local expat who helped us find this house. It's a beautiful house, couple bedrooms. Um, Different than most houses. It's made of wood. Most of the houses here are made of concrete block and cement. But it suits our needs. We've got beautiful views of the beach. We've got a wonderful beach to walk on. Linda really likes it. We've got a swimming pool here as well. And it's just been really great. We've met some wonderful people here. There's a great expat community in Uverito Beach, but there's also a lot of great Panamanians as well, the local folks. And I mean, we couldn't ask for a better place.
Um, John already alluded to what nice expats and Panamanian neighbors we have. Case in point, our moving day into this house, John's leg was injured. We have steps, couldn't do them. So one of the local Panamanian families, their teenage son came, made probably 25 trips up and down our steps and helped us move, had just met us. I mean, it was just wonderful to be welcomed into a community like that. And it's only grown since then. The expats that were here when we moved here have been full of advice for us. Now we're kind of the expats giving other new people advice, which, it's pay it forward, no problem. We have a great community. And like John said, having a pool here is wonderful. It's available to use year round, not like some areas where you have to only wait until it warms up to use it. And here we can use it every day if we choose.
One of the things we really like about living here is we're on the beach in the beach community, but we aren't very far from Las Tablas, maybe 8-10 miles. It takes us 15 minutes to get to town. And they've got the grocery stores and all kinds of shopping, and it's just a wonderful community there. Prices, some of the different prices, things that we've encountered is like our rent here is very, very reasonable. If we had this same place, say on the Florida coast, we would probably be looking at something like $4,000 to $5,000 a month, and here we're not even anywhere near that here, and so that we kind of consider that one of the big pluses of living in Panama. The other thing is groceries. The groceries are comparable to where we lived in the Midwest, and that's so. You're not going to save a whole lot of money on groceries, but you can get a lot of things that you need here. One thing you'll have to do, though, is adjust your diet a little bit, because all those things that you had in the States or Canada might not be available here. So you do adapt. You do adapt. I don't think we've lost much weight since we've been here, have we?
No.
Okay. But it's just wonderful, and just to go in and interact with the people from Panama and the grocery stores, and just seems like everybody's really helpful here.
The thing I'd like to add to that is, besides the grocery stores, one of the nice things we have here is we're right on by a port for the fishing boats. So we can go to the boats and buy fresh fish right off the boat, shrimp. So we get a lot of fresh fish and shrimp, which is really great. And then talking about the cost, John mentioned our rent, which is reasonable, that it includes all our utilities as well. And the only utilities we pay is our cell phone, internet, and our trash. Our trash bill here, and it varies across Panama, but our trash bill is $16 a year. And that was less than I was paying for a month back home. And I get twice a week pickup as opposed to once a week I used to have. So, you know, it's when you start comparing everything, like, yeah, your groceries might be a little bit the same price, but when you total all the factors of living, your utilities, your rent, medical care, things like that, it's definitely a lower cost of living down here.
Auto insurance too.
See.
Auto insurance is a lot cheaper. One of the things that we've really been excited about here in Panama is the cost of medical care. A few months back, I had a problem with my leg, and I went to see the doctor, and he gave me a complete physical, gave me medications. I feel great now, everything's fine. But in the U.S., I could always expect to see the doctor at a doctor's visit, maybe 5 minutes tops. I wouldn't see him any longer than that, and he'd be in and out the room and on to the next one. And I spent 45 minutes with the doctor going over my medical history and you know, him diagnosing me and that, and he was spot on with what his diagnosis was. And at the same time, they decided to give me an EKG while I was in the office. And so after everything was said and done, 45 minutes later, I came out and paid my bill. And it was $24 for the visit and $10 for the EKG right there on the side. So I had a total bill of $34, and I spent 45 minutes actually in with the doctor during that time.
Okay. What I'd like to add on that is I'm a cancer survivor. I have what they call a portacath. If you know what it is, fine. If you don't, just be happy you don't. But anyway, if you have something that's really a specific medical need, you might want to research it before you actually make your move. The portacath that I have requires flushing every 6 weeks or else it will clot off. And I thought, oh, you know, I'll find that within 6 weeks. So when I got down here, the area we live in, nobody here could do it. Looked as far as Santiago, which is, 2 hours away approximately, and could not find a clinic or hospital or doctor to do it. I did finally find a doctor that would do it if I supplied the needles, because it takes a special needle. At this point in time, I was at least 2 months past my flush date. So I've just opted to leave it clotted off. So my advice on something like that, I'm a retired RN, so I thought I knew what I was doing. And that would be, if you have something that's going to require frequent specialty care, you might want to move closer to an area that can provide it, or at least research your options for getting done what you need done. For instance, if I had known that if I supplied the needles, I could have had that taken care of before I moved, and then I wouldn't have had to give up my device. So fortunately, I no longer need it because I'm in remission, but I was just going to keep it in case someday I needed it. So I'm okay, but you know, research out anything really specific you have as to where you can get that care. Okay, one other thing I have encountered is medications. I'm on several, but one in particular I take. I use CVS Pharmacy back home, which is one of the competitive pharmacies, with insurance, and the medicine would cost me $125 for my copay. If I was to buy it over the counter, it would have cost $500. Down here, the medication costs around $110 over the counter. So I just pay it out of pocket, which is still less than I was paying for a copay back home. So, you know, I mean, medical down here, they say it's cheaper, and it truthfully is.
Another great thing we've discovered in Uverito is just how safe and how many friends we've developed in such a short time. We do feel safe here. I had to go to Orlando for 3 days, and Linda was going to be here by herself. So one of our Panamanian friends, excuse me, told her, he said, "Don't worry," he said, "I'll watch out for you during that time." But we're a community here, and we were really surprised. I guess it was a couple months after we moved here, I decided to kind of host a get-together, and I cooked a lot of chicken wings and a few other things, and just kind of have a little party. And before I knew it, I said, "Linda, where did we meet 25 people to invite to this?" But now we've got a lot of expat friends, a lot of Panamanian friends. It's just great, being here. And then, what was it Lloyda said to you about family?
Oh, I told her, she's one of our Panamanian friends, that said, "You're my first Panamanian friend," and she said, "No, you're family," in Spanish to me. So that was pretty touching. And if you're lucky, you get a beach dog to adopt you. But no, our friends here are nice. We have a nice expat community, like we've mentioned. One of our local people arranges gringo nights, for lack of a better term. We all get together. But there's little cadres of us that get together in smaller groups and go on little trips and stuff. And, it's just a pleasant community to be in. As far as the safety goes, like John mentioned, my neighbor checking on me when he went to Orlando, and I have felt so safe here. Occasionally we forget to lock the door. Not had anything adverse happen. I wouldn't do it all the time or that, because you've got to use your senses. But it's just, we never see cops other than just regular beach patrol. I just feel very safe here. I feel safer here than I did in the United States. And they take things seriously here. For instance, we have mask mandates. Whether you're for or against it, it doesn't matter. It's nice that they are trying to help the people. And so when I go somewhere, I do feel comfortable going in the grocery store, because everybody has a mask on. And, yeah, you can have choices, but this is the country I chose to live in. I'll abide by the country's rules. And so health-wise, I feel safe. Just my general safety, I'm good.
We've been here 6 months and haven't heard of any crime here in Uverito. None. So maybe there's something that we haven't heard about, but as far as us hearing anything, and we listen pretty good, we haven't seen or heard anything. Finally, I guess I would say we just love the Azuero Peninsula where we're staying, and just the only real advice I would get you is to really do your homework before you decide to come down here. Jackie's guide is worth its weight in gold. It's where we got our attorney, that's where we got our personal guide, and those things, our personal guide to bring us in this area, who also got the house for us. So there's just so much valuable information in there. It's a bargain, and I can't recommend it anymore. It's an awesome aid in that, because you can do this by yourself, but oh my gosh, you're going to make a whole lot of mistakes. You really are. And this just made things so much easier by having the guide.
I agree with that. We're happy we took the private tour of the Azuero. It's our first year here. Like I said, we just got here in January, and we're so excited and looking forward to. We're starting turtle egg laying season apparently. So every morning we get up and look for turtle tracks on the sand, and then apparently the whales are supposed to be coming in August. So we're just very excited about seeing things like this. This is things we would not see in Missouri in the United States. So we're happy about that. And the guide, the Panama Relocation Guide, it's the one by Jackie Lang. There's a lot of copycats, knockoff names out there, very similar, but make sure you do Jackie Lang's Panama Relocations Tour.